Our first topic for today is all about function. So we are going to discuss the different types of functions, and after that, we are going to discuss the evaluation of functions and the operations of functions. So first, what is function? Let us review first of what is a function. So in this given, we have the relation 1, 2, 2, 5, 3, 10, 4, 17. So here, since the value of our domain has only one partner on the range, so meaning this is a function. Okay, next, here also, okay, here, okay, the partner of the input 1 is 2, 2 is 4, 3 is 6. So notice that there's only one partner on the output and the input. So meaning this is a function. So if there is two or more partner on the output to the input, so meaning that is not a function. So since here they only have one partner. Okay. So number 3, x squared plus y squared minus 4 is equal to 0. So if the given equation has a square or has a higher exponent on the on the two variables, means that is not a function. Okay. So in here, the graph of this is a circle. Okay. This is the graph of a circle. Next, this graph, uh, inverted V. So this is a function. Number 5, side facing to the left u, I mean facing to the right u. That is not a function. So here we will know why this graph is a function or not a function. This equation here, this equation. So we will understand what really is a function. So what is a function? So a function in the definition, so a function is a relation in which element of the domain corresponds to exactly one element of the range. So for example, domain A, partner niya si 1 sa range, B, partner niya si 2, and C, partner niya si 3. Okay? So that is an example of a function. So, pero, kapag si range, may another partner na kapareho sa domain. Okay? So, dalawa yung partner niya sa domain. For example, partner niya si A. Okay? Si range 1, partner niya si A. And then, may isa pang partner si range 1, which is B, for example. Okay? So here, dalawa yung partner ni range sa domain. So meaning, kapag ganyan situation, automatically, that is not a function. Pero kapag isa lang yung partner niya sa domain, meaning, that is a function. Okay. Functions also can be identified using vertical line test. So if the vertical line intersects the graph more than one point, then the graph is not a function. Okay, for example, here. So in here, we have the diagonal line, and then this is our vertical line test. So notice that the vertical line intersects just one point on the graph. Okay, so meaning this is a function. Also here, we have this graph V, a U I mean, our vertical line. So here is the one point that intersects on the graph. Also here, ito yung vertical line test natin. Ito din. Pero notice here, sa U facing to the right, no? If we use a vertical line test here, it intersects 2 points to the graph. Okay? Itong dalawang points na to, nag-intersect siya sa ating vertical line test. So sabi nga dito sa vertical line test natin, if the vertical line intersects the graph more than one point, then the graph is not a function. Okay, so dito, more than one point man. So meaning this is not a function. Also here, not a function kasi tatlo nga eh. Ito naman, dalawa. Ito, dalawa. So yung sa review natin kanina, so kita nyo na kapag ginamitan natin ng vertical line test to, isang point lang nang yung nag-intersect. At dito naman, pag ginamitan natin ng vertical line test, dalawang point yung nag-intersect. Okay? So, dito sa kabila, so kung sabi ko kanina, yung graph nito is a circle. So, pag linagyan natin ng vertical line test to, meaning, nag-intersect siya ng dalawang points. Okay? So, so there are different types of function. So, una na dyan ang linear function. So, a linear function or a function f is a linear function if f of x is equal to mx plus b. Yan. Ito yung kanyang form. Where m and b are real numbers and m and f of x are not both equal to 0. For example, we have 35x plus 5, and then f of x is equals to 3x plus 4. So the graph of this, okay, so the graph of a linear function, so from its word linear, meaning line lang. Okay, pag ganito, okay, diagonal, horizontal, vertical. So depende yan sa iyong equation. Okay. Next, quadratic function. So quadratic function is an equation of the form f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. So the graph of the quadratic function is a curved line which is called parabola. Okay? So for example, we have f of x is equals to 3x squared plus 2x plus 5. Okay? So here, transformation of the graph, y is equal to x squared. Here. Okay, so take note that not all parabola is a quadratic function. Okay? Kasi nga yung iba, facing to the right and also facing to the left. So mayroong instances na ganyan. So kapag ganyan yung graph mo sa quadratic function, meaning hindi na siya quadratic function. Kasi nga, pag ginamitan natin ng vertical line test to, is dalawang point yung mag-intersect sa line. Okay? Okay, next. Constant function and identity function. So a linear function f is a constant function if f of x is equal to mx plus b, where m is equal to 0 and b is any real number, thus f of x is equal to b. So, yung ating constant function, okay, is constant lang mismo. Pag sinabi natin constant, number lang, walang variable. Okay? Wala siyang kasamang x. So meaning, y is equal to, for example, y is equal to 3. Y is equal to 7. Okay? Just a number. Okay? Yan yung ating constant term. Okay. Next, a linear function f is an identity function if f of x is equal to mx plus b, where m is equal to 1 and b is equal to 0. Thus, f of x is equal to x. Yan. So dito naman, si b naman natin yung 0 and m natin is 1. So kapag yan, ang may iiwan na lang is yung variable x. So wala na siyang constant term, just a variable x. Yan yung tinatawag natin na identity function. Okay, next. Absolute value function. So the function f is an absolute function if for all real number x, ito, f of x is a subfunction of x wherein x is greater than or equal to 0 and negative x where x is less than or equal to 0. So, to clear, no? Malalaman natin kapag absolute value function siya kapag meron siyang ganitong sign. Okay? Itong dalawang L na to. Okay? So, pag may ganyan, meaning that is an absolute value function. So, the graph of the absolute value function is pa ganito, no? Pa V. Okay? So, pa V yan. So, take note that the graph of an absolute value function is shaped like a V. Next. Piecewise function. So, piecewise function is a function defined by multiple subfunctions. Okay, subfunctions. So, where each subfunctions applies to a certain interval of the main function's domain. Okay, so meaning, dito naman sa piecewise function, kada subfunction niya, okay, meron siyang interval. Okay, may limit yung kanyang graph. So say for example, we have f of x is equal to the subfunctions of x plus 2 if x is less than or equal to 1 and negative x plus 2 if x is greater than or equal to 1. So here, we have the subfunction x plus 2 and its limit or the interval is x is less than or equal to 1. So starting from x is equal to 1 up to the negative infinity yung kanyang graph. Okay? So while here, sa ating negative x plus 2, if x is greater than or equal to 1. So meaning, yung graph ni negative x plus 2 is starting from positive 1 up to positive infinity. Okay, so graph of the piecewise function. So, for example, f of x is equal to the subfunctions of x plus 1 if x is less than or equal to 1 and negative x plus 2 if x is greater than or equal to 1. So to graph this given piecewise function, we should identify the points for the first function. Since x is less than or equal to 1, so we are going to the negative sides. Kasi nga, less than or equal to 1 siya. So, yung gagamitin natin na number sa ating table of values is from 1 up to negative infinity. Okay? Pababa tayo. Okay? And for the second function, since x is greater than or equal to 1, we are going to the positive side. So, meaning, pataas tayo. Okay? From 1 up to 2, 3, 4, up to positive infinity. Okay. So, we are going to make a table of values. So, x plus 1 if x is less than or equal to 1. Ito yung table of values natin. From 1, no? From 1 up to negative infinity. So, dito, 5 lang yung ginawa natin ng table of values para lang makita natin yung kanyang graph. Okay? So, if x is 1, substitute the value of 1, substitute the value of x sa iyong equation na x plus 1 para makuha yung y. Okay? So, if x is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. If x is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. If x is negative 1, negative 1 plus 1 is 0. If x is negative 2, y is negative 1. If x is negative 3, negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So, yan yung kanyang table of values. For negative x plus 2, if x is greater than or equal to 1 naman, ito yung kanyang table of values. So, same pa din. No? So, ito, starting tayo from 1 up to the positive infinity. So, hanggang 5 lang muna tayo para makita natin yung kanyang graph. Okay? So, same process. Substitute the value of x to the equation, negative x plus 2, para makuha natin yung y. So, negative x plus 2, x is 1, negative 1 plus 2, that is 1. If x is 2, 0. If x is 3, negative 3 plus 2, that is equal to negative 1. Next, 4, negative 2. And if x is 5, negative 5 plus 2, that is negative 3. Okay, so after the table of values, we now graph the table of values of two functions. So, ito na yung graph niya. Ito yung graph ng x plus 1. Ito yun naman yung graph ng negative x plus 2. Okay. Now, can we use the function in real-life situation? The answer is yes. We can use the different types of functions in real-life situation. So functions can be used in different fields, including business, architecture, and engineering. Okay? So here is an example of function in real-life application. So the sari-sari store has a daily income of y is equal to 25x plus 300. So graph the income of the store within 1 week. Hello. Okay. So to graph the given linear function, we will make a table of values. So here, let us put the days as an x. Okay. So we have in 1 week, within 1 week, meaning from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7. Okay. Next, the income per day, okay, from the first day, okay, let x is equals to 1. Substitute lang natin dito sa value sa equation natin na y is equal to 35x plus 300. So 1, so 35 plus 1, times 1, I mean. 35 times 1 plus 300, that is equal to 325. 25 times 2, that is 50, plus 300, 350. 3, we have 375. So day 4, 400. Day 5, 425. Day 6, 450. And also day 7, 475. Okay, so after this table of values, we are going to graph the given equation. So this is the graph. Okay. So as you can see, as days goes by, the income of the store increases. Okay. So notice that the graph of the given function is increasing. Therefore, the income of the sari-sari store increases day by day. So meaning, lumalago yung sari-sari store niya. Next, you are a crew at 712 convenience store that pays an hourly wage of 45 pesos and 1.5 times the hourly wage for the extra hour if you work for more than 40 hours a week. So write a piecewise function that gives the weekly pay P in terms of the number of hours H you work. Okay? Next, graph the piecewise function. So ang gagawin natin dito is to make a piecewise function out of this given. And then after that, we are going to graph. So first things first, you just need to understand kung ano yung given natin. Okay? Sabi na dito, no? Meron kang hourly wage na 45 pesos or pesos. And meron kang dagdag na 1.5 times the hourly wage for the extra hour kapag nag-work ka more than 40 hours a week. No? May dagdag ka daw na 1.5 times. Okay. So for the solution, so first, for the first subfunction, for up to 40 hours, your pay is given by 45H. No? Kaya, okay. Kasi nga, okay. 45 pesos yung binibigay sa iyo sa kada hourly wage mo. So that is 45H. Okay? Up to 40 hours lang siya. Okay? Kasi nga, after ng 40 hours, meron ka ng dagdag na 1.5. So for over 40 hours naman, your pay is given by 45 times 40 plus 1.5 times 45 times H minus 40. Okay? 45 times 5, kasi nga, dyan ka magsa-start. Multiplied mo kung magkano yung hourly wage mo, which is 45, no? Plus, ito, dito na madadagdag yung incentive mo na 1.5 times the hourly wage. Okay? So 1.5 times the hourly wage of 45 times kung ilang hour ka dumagdag. Okay? Or nag-exceed sa 40. Okay, so H minus 40. So 1,800, so 45 times 40, that's 1,800, plus 1.5 times 45, that is 67.5, times H minus 40. And then, multiply mo lang si 67.5 dito sa loob, no? 67.5 times H minus 40, 1,800 plus 67.5h minus 2,700. Okay. Next, simplify 1,800 minus 2,700. That is 67.5h minus 900. Okay. So that is now your second subfunction. Thus, the piecewise function is P of h represents the hourly wage. It is equal to the piecewise function of 45h if h is less than or equal to 40. No? Kapag yung oras mo is less than or equal to 40, meron kang equation of 45h. So, yan yung magiging kita mo kapag equal or less than 40 lang yung hours na ginamit. Okay. Next, 67.5h minus 900 if h is greater than 40. So, kapag lumagpas ka na sa 40, no, ito na yung sweldo mo. Okay? 67.5h minus 900. Okay. So, ang gagawin lang, gagawa lang kayo ng table of values sa kada isa. Okay? Sa kada isa dito na equation. And then, after that, you will graph your table of values. Okay? So, this is the graph of 40h, yung blue. And then, yung yellow naman represents 67.5h minus 900. So, kapag, okay, so dito, okay, so makikita na dito na less than 200,000, 2,000 yung sweldo mo kapag hindi ka umabot or 40 below lang yung iyong oras na oras sa trabaho. Pero kapag kapag lumagpas ka sa 40 above, okay, from here papunta dito. Okay, depende sa oras na nilaan mo sa